evening, folks. How are we doing this evening? I hope everyone is doing well. Let me put my camera on. How are we? Like I said, how are we? Good to see everyone who has stopped in to maybe hear a spooky yarn. But as usual, I'm going to start out and see who's here so I can give them the proper greeting that you all deserve. So let me begin right in the top. Ralphie, the first one in the chat. Steve Morinello, Emmanuel Spataro, Maureen, Don McHugh checking in from the land down under, Gerard from upstate New York, Adam Crevorcier. Who else is here? Did I miss anyone? And those are who have commented. I believe. I don't believe anyone else has commented. But nonetheless, I welcome Todd Father. How are you? Fancy Nancy is listening. Nice. Thank you. So I hope everyone is enjoying this very cool evening, at least where I am it is. It's beautiful. It's a precursor to fall. We still have another week or so of summer, but this is definitely a taste of fall, which is delightful to me, and it's also perfect for a scary story or two. And I have my libation, as I always do. And I also have my two friends here, which I introduced you last week, and which were named by you guys, Edgar and Poe. My two companions here, who will light me up a bit, I should say, once we douse the lights and begin the story here. So why don't we do that? There we go. There's our Dickens candle. And we have our Raven. Our Raven, Edgar. And our owl, Poe. I remember last week it was getting a little bit hot from the heat of the candles. But hopefully that won't be the case now because it's a little bit cooler. And I don't think you can see the candles there because they're getting kind of low. I have a couple of new ones I can put in there. But I think we're ready to start our story. Arm Distance came in. Paul C came in. Good to see you guys. Mike F in the house. Great to see everyone this evening on this Friday. I know some people are out, living their lives, having a good time. Not that this isn't a good time, because it's a good time for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. But I do understand if folks are not here. And this is not the Sting video, Todd Father. The Sting video would have Ralph catching on fire in it. And we don't have that happening, hopefully. Not here. So let me give you a little bit of background about this story. This story comes to us from, allegedly, the journal of a French Canadian by the name of Thomas Rousseau from the year 1899. Now, I entitled this Spirits of the Huron. Now, for those of you who don't know who the Huron are, the Huron is a tribe, primarily a Canadian tribe of natives, Indians, native tribe of Indians, the Huron, Algonquin-speaking people, and they encompassed a lot of the very northeast Canada, around the Great Lakes, and they were quite a numerous and powerful nation of Algonquin-speaking people. And they were said to have various powers, and much like many Native Americans or Native Canadians, Native Indians, they felt there was a superstition and power, and a lot of that was prevalent in their culture. And there was many tales of them coming back from the dead, and be wary of spirits, etc., etc. So this area in question of the story takes place on a small island in a Canadian lake. So imagine a Canadian lake surrounded by woods and mountains, and in the middle of this lake is a small island. It's somewhere along, it's not in the Great Lakes, but it's in that area, and it's somewhere close to Montreal. Now, on this lake, there is an old cottage, and it's a pretty decent sized cottage. It's a 2-story, 6-bedroom structure. And during the summer months of the late 1890s, many from Montreal would summer in the area, and some would come and rent this particular cabin or cottage on this island. And the island didn't have much on it. It was small, like I said. You had to get to it via canoe, and you would have to be reliant on a local farmer to bring you supplies once a week, because there was nothing on the island except this cottage, and no livestock, nothing like that, nothing to sustain you. So you're relying on this farmer who rents out the cottage to come from his mainland establishment with eggs and bread and food for you while you stay there. Well, in 1899, Thomas Rousseau was staying there, and it was the end of summer. It was late September, mid September, I should say, almost about this time of year. And he was there with his family and friends. And as summer came to an end, most went back to regular life. They went back to Montreal, whereas Thomas, still renting the place for another 2 weeks, decided to stay on. You see, he was studying to pass the bar exam, the law. He was a law student and studying to pass the bar exam, and he felt 2 weeks alone in the cottage would be good for him to study it and better his knowledge and his chances of passing the bar. So he stood there alone. His family left. So it was just him and his books, his law books. Excuse me for a second. And so he's alone on this island in this cottage, and immediately the difference between the summer months and the fall months become evident to him. He notices how it's pure silence around him, other than the sounds of the forest and the lake. No people anywhere. During the summer, there were people on the other side of the lake, where there was a bit of a campground or a resort area. That's all vacant now. So it's simply Thomas Rousseau in his cottage, bent on studying the law and becoming the best lawyer he can possibly be and pass the bar, etc. So he begins by deciding where is he going to sleep in the cottage. Like I said, the cottage had 6 bedrooms, so he had his pick. And he decided he was going to take his time and pick the right bedroom for him to set up. The structure of the cabin on the first floor was a kitchen and a sitting room and a den area where he would do his studying. And then in the front, there was, I guess, a living quarters area that people would come in. And all 6 bedrooms were upstairs on the second floor. In fact, there was a little balcony that hung out over the front of the structure, because the front of the structure had a veranda kind of patio. And he decided to choose the bedroom that was right there above the front entrance, so he could go out and on the balcony and experience the fresh air at night if he couldn't sleep. So, it was his, basically, it was his for the choosing. So he chose that, and he set a room in there and began his studies. Now, the first night, he had a very difficult time going to sleep. It was him alone. He was used to the sounds and bustles of the people that were with him in the house and across the lake. But he immediately noticed how the cabin began to come alive in the dark, how he would hear footsteps, how he would hear creaking, how he would hear the faint sound of whispering in the darkness, in the hallway of the cabin, in the hallways of the cabin. And he had a hell of a time falling asleep because of all of these distractions. Outside, there was only the sounds of crickets, only the sounds of crickets, and perhaps the faint sound of a howl in the distance from a coyote or a wolf. But after a while, fatigue takes over and you fall asleep. And he did. And he learned to fall asleep in this environment for the most part. And so he did this for about 6 days worth of this. I remember he was here for 2 weeks. So he made it through about 6 days, and he was getting a lot of studying in and kind of getting used to the environment in which he was to sleep and live. And it wasn't until that 7th day where something happened that really shook him. And in the front of the building, or the front of the cottage, there were 6 lanterns. Now, I did neglect to say there's no electricity in this cabin. It's on a lake. It's run by kerosene lamps. That's the lighting. Kerosene lamps, a fireplace, and candles. That's all he has when darkness falls. So you can imagine the overpowering nature of the darkness when there is no sources of light, how it shakes the human soul, and the inherent fear of the dark that comes forward. Very primordial in the absence of fire. Without fire was, for so many thousands of years, the man's defense against the darkness and the evil unknown that was out there. So those 6 lamps would light up the front room brilliantly, as well as he would keep the fireplace going because the nights would get very cold. At this time, he was seeing the leaves changing. He would see a blend of yellow and orange around him. The winds would kick up, and the nights would get into the 30s. Not yet to the freezing level, but in the 30s. So you would see your breath. You'd feel the chill in your bones. And he needed the fire, and he would spend a lot of time in the cabin at night. Where else could he possibly go? It was pitch black. So that after that 6 days, the seventh night, he goes to bed, and he is awoken by what he feels as distinct footsteps, boom, creaking, goom, goom, creaking, and he jumps up. He reaches for his rifle, which he kept at his bedside, and he begins to creep down the stairs, very afraid of what might be waiting for him. Distinct footprints downstairs, distinct footprints of walking. And he went downstairs into the pitch blackness, and he hesitates to light a lantern, thinking, what will the light reveal? Does he even want to see what the light will reveal? And he strikes that match, and he lights the lantern, and proceeds to hold it and scan the entire room for what or who or what was there. And he sees nothing. He goes to the back door. The back door is latched shut. It hasn't been disturbed. The windows on the first floor have all been bolted. He did that before he went to sleep, and they were also undisturbed. The front door was locked, and not a sound of anyone other than a mouse. He sees the random running of a mouse across the floor. And he knows very well that there is no way a mouse could make such the sounds of heavy footsteps. So he chalks it up to his imagination, chalks it up to the fact that these 6th or 7th days in this solitude is starting to get to him. And he goes and finally gets himself back to sleep. He had quite a time doing that. The next morning comes, and when he awakes this morning, he awakes with a certain sense of dread that he cannot describe where it's coming from or what it is. This sense of dread is that he despises the room he's in. It's on the verge of making him sick to be in the room where he's been sleeping for the last 7 days. So he begins to try to figure this out. Why is this happening? But he has no answer other than that it's this repugnant feeling in him. He can't stay in this room. So he decides, that's it. I'm going to move downstairs. After what went on last night, I don't trust what could be happening down there. I want to be there if something happens, if someone comes in, if some creature is there, I want to be there and confront it first on. Plus, I'm not going to stay in this room. I can't stay in this room. It's churning my stomach to stay in this room. So he moves his bedroll downstairs. He takes one of the cots out and he sets up in the corner of the sitting room in the front near the fire. This was going to be his new place to sleep. So that day he goes out, and he was having a hard time. He planned to continue studying the entire day, but he was having a hard time concentrating, a real hard time concentrating. He couldn't get his mind off of the predicament that he was and why this overwhelming feeling of dread came over him and what could it possibly be. So he just went out onto the lake and fished, spent the day fishing. He caught 6 or 7 bass, and before he knew it, the sun was starting to set again, and the wind was kicking up, and he felt the chill once more, the chill creeping up on him. So he made his way back to the cottage, put the fish in the ice house, and thought about tomorrow what the dinner he'd have, because tomorrow was the midpoint date, the date when the farmer would come and provide him eggs and bread and vegetables and anything else. And he could cook up these wonderful salmon that he had in his ice house, and he would have quite a meal, and that would set him straight. That would get him back to normal. So, as he's doing this, he's setting things up, and he lights his fire for the night. He lights the 6 lanterns in the front room, and he's trying to read a bit. He feels a little bit more calm now that he had this day of fishing and that the farmer is going to be there tomorrow. So another human being is going to be there, someone he can interact with. He does this. He begins to, and suddenly he hears something outside. Now, it's definitely pitch black. It's about 9 p.m. at night, 10 p.m. at night, around that time. And he goes up to the front and he glances out. He glances out the window, the front window of the door. And the 6 lanterns had produced so much light that it actually projects light onto the lake, onto the little dock that was right in the front where his canoe was, and onto the lake itself. So as he looks out onto the area that's illuminated by the light of the candles and the lanterns, he sees that the water is disturbed. And he's wondering, what could this possibly be? Could this be a bear or other wildlife swimming in the lake at this time? It's kind of odd that would happen. So he looks again, and he thinks he sees a canoe go across, breaking the light and going into the darkness. So now he's puzzled. Who could be on the lake in a canoe at this time? The other side of the lake is deserted. There's no one around. Could it be the farmer had come this way in the night, in the darkness? No, the farmer would never come at night. Who could this be? and he watches intently. And again, he sees the shadow of a canoe break the light panel, break the beam of light, and disappear into the darkness. This time, the other way. Now, this time, he caught a better glimpse of the canoe, and the canoe was nothing like his canoe. It was nothing like a modern canoe. It was a canoe reminiscent of the old Indian war canoes that the Huron would use. It had a big arched front that would stick out above, and it was thick. It was made with hides of animals. It gave you the feel of something that was much older than anything he had seen in 1899. So now his curiosity is piqued. He goes outside. He goes outside onto the veranda, and he makes his way down to the wharf or the dock where his canoe is. And he's standing there, and he's waiting, and he's waiting. And suddenly he sees a second canoe come by. Same thing, passing through the light and into the dark. But this time it's a little closer. Then in about 5 or 10 minutes, he sees it again. A third canoe, breaking the light and then passing into the darkness. And now he realizes there's one thing, that these aren't multiple canoes. It's the same canoe. And what it's doing is it's circling the island. And each time it circles the island, it gets closer to his dock. Well, a sense of fear suddenly comes over him. Who and what could this be? And at that particular time, the canoe comes again. And this time he catches a glimpse of who's in the canoe. And it's undeniably two men with oars, one much bigger than the other, and both wearing Indian headdress, wearing skins of animals. There is no denying that there were Huron warriors in the canoe. And the canoe passes into the darkness again. Well, now the adrenaline is shooting through his body, and he decides, I need to get out of here. I need to get to a defensive position. If these Indians are coming for me, I need to get where I can defend myself. So he runs up the stairs, from the wharf, up onto the veranda and into the house. He slams the door, bolts it closed. He searches around for his gun. Where is my gun? Where is my gun? And he finds his gun. He goes to the corner of this next to the fireplace, the corner of the building. He figures this is the best defensive position. If anyone comes in here, I will be able to greet them with gunfire. So as he's doing this, he is standing there in the corner, cowering, much like a child would, overcome by his fear. And as he's doing that, he begins to hear the sound of the canoe. He hears the sound of the canoe docking. And he hears the sound of a canoe being dragged over the rocks, much like he does every day after he uses his canoe, that it was dragged up onto the rocks. Now, the fear is breaking. The fear is getting more and more, and it's building and building. And then he hears the subtle steps of someone coming up the path. In fact, two people coming up the path. Well, fear has just about petrified him at this point as he glances, his eyes zeroed in on the front door. And as he does this, subtly, he sees the doorknob jiggle of the front door. Now, the door is locked, but for some reason, the doorknob seems to turn. Petrified with fear, he begins to pray, Lord, save me from this. Save me from this, whatever this is on the other side of that door. If they will only pass me by, if I stand still, they will pass me by. And with that, he sees the outline of a face press against the glass on the front door. And it's distinctly that of an Indian. Distinctly, he could see the war paint on the face. He could see the hairdress on top of the head sticking up. And with that, the door suddenly begins to open. Now, this was it. This did it for him. He was completely petrified. The door that he had bolted is now open, and it's slowly opening. He grabs for his gun, but he realizes he can't move. He realizes that fear has frozen him, that he can't grab his gun. He is at the mercy of whatever is coming through that door. And as the door opens up, he sees the larger of the two individuals silently walk in, not making a sound, but silently walking in. Now, the room is completely dark because he had blown out the lanterns as soon as he came back into the cabin. Only the dim light of the fire, which is going out, is projecting shadows across the floor, and projecting the shadows of these two as they enter the building. Now, the second individual follows suit, follows the bigger one, and closes the door gently behind him. And the two of them stop. Now, Thomas is holding his very breath. He doesn't want to breathe. In fact, the air feels painful. To him, it feels painful to breathe. His nose is burning. His eyes are tearing. He is beside himself with fear. As the two progress into the room, the front room, they pause at the table that is standing there. And the big one turns and looks to the smaller one. And the smaller one raises his hand and points upstairs to the ceiling. And the big one looks and nods. And they begin to proceed forward. Now, Thomas is praying, don't come around my side of the table. Don't come around my side of the table. Because they could go either way. They could go the opposite way, or they can go this way. And if they go this way, they will be inches away from where he is in the corner. Well, unfortunately, they choose the direction where he is. And they proceed past him to the point where he feels the wind and the cold. He feels the cold air as they pass. And he notices another thing about the two is that they're dragging something behind them. And they proceed to go to the stairwell. Now, they haven't noticed him, and he's baffled by the fact that they haven't noticed him because they pass within inches of his face. They proceed to go up the stairs, and he hears whatever they're dragging. He can't figure out what they're dragging. Whatever they're dragging, ba-boom, 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 bumping up the stairs as they go upstairs. And then he hears footsteps in the room above him, which was the room at which he slept in for the past 7 days. Well, at this point, he's able to gain some of his strength to move a little bit as they have left the room. And with that, he felt empowered, I guess, to some degree, in the sense that he could move again. He could grab his gun. He now has his gun in his hand. But he's hesitant to do anything. Is it possible that they could just walk away? Could they just do whatever get whatever they're looking for and go away without touching me? That's all he's praying for. Well, at this point, he hears movement upstairs, and suddenly he hears a scream, a screech, like a blood-curdling screech, and then a thud as if something hit the floor. What could this be? Did the Indians fight with each other? Did one kill the other? What is happening up there? What has happened up there? So at this point, he crouches down in the corner, cocks his gun, and is ready for them as they come down the stairs. Well, as this is going on, suddenly outside, the wind whips up, and he hears rain start to fall. And hammer and hammer. It starts slowly, but it gets stronger and stronger, and it turns into a downpour. And it's pounding the roof, and it's pounding the windows. And in the distance, he hears the rumbling of the storm itself. and a flash of lightning strikes in the distance. Now, this petrified him, because what would happen if lightning struck close and the room illuminated when the Indians were near him? What would happen to him? What he would be revealed. His plan would be he would be doomed. That would be his end. So the rain continues and the wind continues. Now, the noise of nature is making it difficult for him to hear what's going on upstairs. So suddenly he sees at the foot of the stairs the big Indian coming back down. He didn't hear them because of the sound of the storm. And then behind him, he also sees the figure of the smaller. And again, the smaller is dragging something, ba-boom, 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 down the stairs. And they begin to proceed again on his side of the table to get to the doorway. Now, suddenly, as the big Indian is in the front of him, his worst fear happens. Lightning strikes, and it strikes near the cabin, and the entire room illuminates to the point that he sees everything in front of him. And in fact, he sees he sees the Indians. They're exactly what he thought they were, but he also sees what they're dragging, and what they're dragging is the body of a white man. And the white man had been scalped. The scalp had been cut off. Blood is drenching down the head and the face of the body, and the clothes have blood in it. And he sees one of the Indians carrying the scalp of the dead white man. And then it goes black again because the lightning strike had passed. And then suddenly a second strike hits. And he never could recall a strike hitting that quickly, one after the other, but it did. And illuminated it once again. And this time, his attention was directly on the body of the white man. And what he saw shook his soul, because what he saw was his face. It was his body that was there, scalped and being dragged by the Indians. Well, at this point, such a fear and struggle came over him that he grabbed all of his energy forward, and he began to get angry and rage. He had overcome his fear with rage, and something gave him the power to just stand up and leap forward and grab the larger Indian's neck. He was going to strangle this Indian and kill him. He was going to defend to the last second. He was not going to be what he saw. He would not be what he saw. And as he does this, his hands go straight through air, and he falls dead through air to the ground. And with that, it goes blank. He had hit his head, and he is knocked unconscious. It's about 8 hours when he suddenly awakes on the floor. He awakes on the very spot at which he fell. And he's awakened by the voice of the farmer, who says, "Thomas, are you okay? Are you okay?" So he opens his eyes, and to his delight, it's the farmer. But he can't believe what he experienced. What happened to the Indians? How did he survive? What exactly happened? And the farmer helps him up and, sits him down and pours him a glass of water, of milk that he had brought with him, brought him a glass of milk, and says, "What happened?" And Thomas begins to tell him the story. And the farmer looks at him, not with a sense of surprise, but just a nod, as if he knew exactly what had occurred, as if he had heard the story before. And he begins to tell him how these woods have been haunted for many years, and that what he saw were the spirits of dead Huron warriors who, to this day, guard the island or inhabit the island. And at this point, Thomas says to the farmer, "Well, I can't stay here anymore. I just can't stay." And the farmer says, "That's fine. Come and stay with me." And he decides he will go with the farmer and stay on the farm for the remainder 6 days that he's supposed to be there. He could not stay in here again. And they lock up everything and they leave. And he does that. He goes and just takes his books with him and begins to sit with the farmer and the farmer's wife. And the farmer's wife was a good cook and she provided him meals. It was probably a better deal than he had before. And so the 6th day comes where it's about his time to go back to civilization. And he just feels that he cannot do this without going back once to that cabin and checking to see what he saw. So he decides to borrow the canoe of the farmer and take a trip over to the cabin. Now he goes there in late afternoon and he docks and he walks quietly up the veranda into the house and begins to look around, and everything looks as it once was. Everything looks untouched, as if nothing at all was there. There's no evidence of a dead body. There's no evidence of Indians. There's no evidence of blood. There's no anything at all. Everything is just as he saw. And so he sits there and kind of says to himself, what a fool I was. What I let this place get the best of me. How could I have done that? I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm supposed to be a man of logic and facts and reality, and I've let myself be overcome by fears of loneliness and the unknown. So he spends the rest of the day on the island fishing again once more time before he goes back. And as dusk comes, he begins to say, it's time for me to make my way back to the farmer and then make passage back to Montreal. So he begins to go out onto the lake onto a canoe to make his way back to the other side where the farmer was. And as he does that, the sun is setting over the horizon, and suddenly in the distance he sees a canoe coming towards him. And he's puzzled, what is this? A canoe again. And he stops. He stops his rowing to the point so he could get a better look, and the canoe is getting closer. And once again, to his surprise, he sees the same sight he saw that night. He sees the 2 Indians rowing on the canoe, rowing. So he's frozen again, not to the degree he was, but he's shocked at what he's seeing. And at this point, though, it looks like they're rowing towards him. And when he notices that they're rowing directly towards him, he begins to row frantically away. Frantically, he has to get to the other side. And he does this for quite a distance. He does this over and over until he looks back and he sees that the Indians are not following him any longer. What they're doing is doing their circling of the island, which he saw them do. Round by round, getting closer and closer as the darkness falls. They get closer and closer to the dark. Well, that was it for Thomas, and he just kept rowing and rowing and rowing and got back to civilization as fast as he could, never to return to that cabin in the woods on that lonely lake. And that's my story. That's my story of Thomas Rousseau and his encounter with the Huron ghosts on this isolated lake not far from Montreal, Canada. So he escaped with his life. You can't complain about that. So I hope you like that. That was, it wasn't really a complex story, but it's a real story, and it's based. And I don't know if it's a real story, but it's based on a story, a fictional story written, and I put the name of the author in the description if you care to read the original story. But it was supposedly based on the journal of this individual by the name of Thomas Rousseau. Oh, thank you, Nick M. I didn't even know you were here. I haven't been watching the chat, but thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. I know. I see Yankees was here. I don't know if anyone else I didn't catch before. Paul C. I see is here. I saw Tommy Stiggs check in. Edwin was here. Thank you guys for stopping in. I really appreciate it. And I hope you liked it. I hope you liked that story. And we'll see what next week brings. I have to just to share with you what I do with these stories is I do a lot of research to find these stories. Some on the internet, some on old books. So and I always change them a little bit here and there, either to make them more interesting or to make them creepier, But yeah, so that's my story. Todd Father, you're here. You want to come up? Hey Noel, how are you? I'll put the link in the chat if you want to come up. Seminole apparitions. Oh, nice, Noel. Wow. I believe it. Noel. I really do. I definitely believe that. The Seminoles it's such an interesting tribe too, because they're really Native Americans and escaped slaves that had interbred. It's a very unique Native American tribe. And there's lots of stories about Seminoles. Lots of stories about them. Oh, thank you, Arms. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. Who is this? Who is this in the house? What is that we're making?
It's the dry rub that I always talk about. I'm making a fresh
dry rub.
Yep.
The famous dry rub. Excellent.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. Hang on, let me just mute for a minute, and I'm going to go out in the other room, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. What am I sipping? I'm sipping an old fashioned. That's usually what I sip when I tell my stories on Friday night. So my son is having a party outside and in the basement, so I'm kind of stuck up here in the room anyway. So it's a perfect night to just chill out and well, thank you, Don. I appreciate that. I'll like I always say, if anyone has stories that they'd like me to tell, by all means, email me. I'd be happy to tell them or bring you on to tell them. Whatever works. It's I'd love to do that. I'm really interested in word of mouth stories, people that you don't know, most people don't know or won't be able to find. That's what I'm really interested in. It's bourbon, Noel. Bourbon, yeah, no rye, just bourbon. And actually, I don't even have oranges in the house, so I don't have an orange peel in it. I have cherries. I'm missing the orange. I have orange bitters in it, but no orange. Paisano with ice, yeah. Paisano's the only one with the only thing you're allowed to have ice with, Don. You need ice when you drink Paisano. So, yeah. So I don't know what everyone else is doing tonight. I hope you're having a great night. I hope you're enjoying the weather, and I hope I entertained you a little bit. We lost Todd Father. Well, if you want to come back on, Todd Father, I will. I didn't pin it, so I'll put it back in the chat if you want to come back on. And then I'll pin it once it's off so that it's there for the taking. And we had an interesting show last night. 2+ hours, 2.5 hours, I think it was. We with Tommy, we had a great wine, and we had Mo stop by, which was cool. Well, thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that. We had Mo from Arizona stop by, which was fun. That was cool. So, we're having some fun here on this channel of mine. I don't, that's Tommy saying this channel of mine, but this is my channel, so I don't want to step on that trademark. But this little channel, today it's a story channel. Thursdays it's a wine channel, and on Sundays it's a movie analysis channel. What's going down?
Right, sorry about that. Can you
No
hear me?
problem. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I came up, and I still had the avatar
Mhm.
from. Look at me. Oh man, I got a giant head. Yeah, I just
You all
got out of the
ready for
shower. I
your?
didn't comb my hair. I'm a disaster still. I was
You all,
mowing the lawn for about 2 hours earlier.
you all ready
So
for tomorrow?
yeah, but my son might not be ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because of
Yeah, he wound up
the
coming
cold.
home from school, and he's got a pretty bad cold.
Mhm.
So I didn't go out and buy any food or nothing. So we're gonna, see how he feels in the morning, and that way we'll see if we're party's still on or not. But
Yeah.
either way, the lawn needed to be cut. So,
Right. Thank you,
but
Gerard. I appreciate that. So, Tommy, you were at the Bellwood game. Did they lose as usual? Because that's what they do. They lose. So, you were in the announcers booth. Interesting. Did you announce, or you were just in the booth? And was Sessa there? That's what I want to know. If Anthony Sessa was there. Just a little Belleville exchange there. Well, hi, Gina. You look
yeah,
tired. You look tired, Noel says.
yeah.
No
Who else
shit.
is new? No, what's crazy is I got done with everything, and it's starting to get a little dark. I'm like, oh, it's got to be about 9 o'clock. It's almost time for Anthony's show. It was like
Mhm.
7:30. I'm like, okay, you know. So yeah, but we got everything pretty much cleaned up and ready to go. It's just I didn't buy any food because I'm not gonna go out and blow all that money on stuff. If we're not having a
Noel
party.
said that Theme Dude made 600 deviled eggs.
No, no. He actually can't make it. He's got a wedding to go to. So
Yeah, but
uh,
he may have made the deviled eggs anyway. He probably ate
he'll
them
eat him on
himself.
his own.
He probably ate
Forget
them
about
himself.
it. He'll eat him on his own. So, but oh man, yeah, yeah, that's right, Mike F. I'm just realizing it now. What really, really grinds my gears a little bit? So, did you ever buy something that um, and then they put the price sticker on the product,
Mhm.
and then it doesn't peel completely clean off. So
Yeah.
then you got to get all the stick and stuff. It really, I don't know.
Oh, that's quite annoying. Yes.
It really,
It's quite
something
annoying.
stupid like that pisses me off. You can call me any name in the book and it won't make me mad, but
Mhm.
something like that minuscule will make me nuts.
I hear
So
you.
yeah,
Can't
so
get it off either, right? There's always going to be bits of it there. You're never going to get
right.
it all off.
Well, now I got to go in my garage and get the goo gone and
Mm.
try to get it off. So it's gonna bother me that much. It's gonna bother me that much that I'm gonna have to get that stuff off. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh, so
but
Tommy, you didn't go. They just asked you to go. Okay. It was his 27th year. Okay. What type of anniversary is that? 27. That's not a big thing.
yeah, I've never been to invited to a 27th year anniversary of anything. So maybe it's a new thing. You never know. So
Yeah, you know what? Next July, I'm having a 24th wedding anniversary party. In case you all want to come, that's
yeah,
gonna.
you know what? Maybe I should start advertising with my business. Hey, if you're having a 27th anniversary party, let me know, and we'll special deals.
Yes.
So
What's the theme for 27? We'll come up with a theme. We'll come up
you
with
know,
one.
you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna pass on that one. So I got the chat going, so I could see the chat, and I could see you faintly in the background.
Well, I'm gonna put my light
So,
on. I'm gonna blow these out.
Ralph's gonna get mad.
Look at that smoke. Look at that. Woo! Woof.
Oh, spooky.
You like my little candle holders here? The raven and the owl.
I love them.
Thank you. I'm glad you do.
Your boat.
I'm glad you do.
I could show you some of my speakers if you want. I mean, they're over there.
Why
I got one. I had to put in this room. It's our room between the house and the garage. you know, I keep, you know, some of my equipment in here fast. So, you know, if I have to, you know,
Right.
leave, you know, on the weekends or whatever. But if I have an extended time off or whatever, I'll put it in the garage or in the basement or whatever. But yeah, I put most of the stuff in my van tonight, so this room can be free. So
Nice.
but,
Steven, it's not my anniversary. We were talking about Stiggs. He said that there was the 27th anniversary of a guy we know who announces the high school football games in the town we grew up in. It's just we were just busting on that one. It's not my anniversary.
well, what am I
But-
coming up on? 13 years. Yeah, maybe we'll have a huge celebration.
13. Lucky 13.
Yeah, like our teenage years of marriage now. I mean,
Well, actually, you know, in Italy, 13 is a lucky number. I never knew that, but my in-laws told me that.
I got a buddy who's got a 13. It's his lucky number on his arm, like a tattoo of 13, like a sun or something on it. I don't know. I just chalk it up to he's a Dolphins fan from Buffalo, and maybe he like Dan Marino too much. I don't know. I don't get it.
Wait, hold on. What's this coming in? Something's coming in here. Hold on.
Oh,
there he is. What's happening?
Very good story tonight, Ant. Very good story.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. The ambiance is perfect. The bookshelf behind you is perfect. The candles were perfect. Everything was good. Everything was good.
Appreciate
the chat was moving. The chat enjoyed the show. I love these shows. Tonight is the perfect night for this. It's nice and
beautiful.
Cool.
Beautiful out.
It's nice and cool.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get cooler as the night progresses. And then tomorrow morning, it's gonna be like I think 52 here in North Jersey.
Yeah. Yep.
And then this morning my heat kicked on.
I know. I heard that.
Yeah, we heard this earlier, Ralph.
Yeah,
I know. When I was on Todd Father's show this morning, my heat kicked on.
I heard that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was perfect. You know, and as we progress into the fall, I don't know. You know, maybe it might be too chilly for you to do the show outside because you got all kinds of animals up there.
Yeah.
You know what, Ralph? You told him that everything looked really good just now, so maybe he should stay in there because then you're going to start critiquing his fireplace and all that stuff. So I mean, leave the guy alone, will you?
No, I was trying to help. I was trying to help him out. You know, I wasn't criticizing him. I just offered a couple of suggestions. I mean, it's up to him what he wants to do.
Did you guys see the short I posted today? If you didn't,
yes,
take a look
with
at
Freddie the Fox, the ball.
Absolutely, that friggin' fox. He gets that ball. I throw it into the woods, and every morning I come out and it's in the middle of the yard. He plays with it during the night.
I was glad.
It's all chewed up. You know what I mean? It's all chewed up like a dog would have it. But he plays with it every night.
Obviously it does, yeah. Well, you got all kinds of wildlife up there, Ed.
Oh, yeah.
How about bear? Have you ever seen any bear up there?
Yeah, we had a bear. We had a big one actually go right by here a couple of years ago. I haven't seen one lately on my property, but I saw them a couple of weeks ago on a local road by here. As I was coming up, I saw a mother and two babies, two small.
Black bear?
Yeah, black bear. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, you want to stay away from those.
No, you don't. Especially when there's babies, you don't go anywhere near them.
Oh.
If there's no babies, I mean, I've had encounters with black bear before, and it's never been a problem. You know, it's just been a lone black bear. They don't pay attention to you at all for the most part. They go about their business. They don't bother you. They just go about from garbage can to go or whatever they're doing for food. You know, they don't bother you around here. But if there's babies, I would not play around. I wouldn't go anywhere near them.
You know they're very fast, right?
Oh yeah.
Very fast.
I think you'd be able to outrun them. Your stride's got to be about 10 feet per step, Ralph.
Ralph will get out the skateboard and just blow them in the dirt and the dust.
That's funny.
Dust Jones said, my skateboard was made out of stone.
You know, Ralph, I'm going to be real honest with you right now. I was, me and my daughter went to the store earlier, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden I look over, and there's a dumpster sitting out in front of somebody's house, and I'm like, oh, wonder if I can stop by and ask if I can rummage through. I'm serious. I looked at the dumpster and I'm like, oh, Ralph's thinking score right now. So
come across any since the last time I went to the house and did a catering job, which is what, 2 weeks ago.
Listen, I'm still waiting for another candle holder, Ralph. So you better get on this. You better find a dumpster. I'm waiting for more candle holders.
I am. I got in the back of my mind, and I made a score. I got a whole bunch of DVDs. I got a DVD and VHS combo, which works beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a score.
Yep.
So the next time I see one and I go dumpster diving, I'm going to do a video on it.
That would be classic. That would definitely be classic.
People up there, they don't mind. They don't mind. The lady
it's garbage to them, right? It's garbage. So they care. They don't.
So
care.
Now we got to get him get him a dash cam and a GoPro.
A GoPro, yes. Yeah. That would be awesome. The diving in on the head, that would be awesome.
Maybe something will fall in on him or something. It'll just go flat.
It'll be like the trash compactor in Star Wars when all the stuff is falling on them in the trash compactor.
I did have a off today. A girl cut me off today. She didn't give me cut me right off.
She didn't flip you the bird?
She cut me right off in the truck.
Can you tell us what your reaction to that was, please?
I don't want to say. I don't. Use your imagination.
So now we're hearing some bear stories in the chat here. Like Adam said, his sister-in-law had a bear take a bag of potato chips from her out of her hand, and
what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a little too close for comfort.
Yeah,
there.
That's crazy shit.
Yeah, that's no good.
It's very close for comfort. Yeah, you got to watch out, Anthony. Like I said, you're up there in the woods. You got a lot of wildlife up there. You got to.
Yeah, like I said, they don't bother me. They really don't bother you. They really don't. I mean,
no, I mean, I don't know. I didn't say they bother you, but you walk out your back door, you never know. You never know what to expect to see out in your backyard.
That's true. That's true.
That's the way it is up there.
Yeah, I mean,
and they can climb too. So like you can't even like get away no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but Freddie's cool.
Freddie's cool. He's a good boy, Freddie. He keeps all the mice down, keeps all of the all the pests down.
Yeah, foxes are no good for my parents' barn there.
Well, yeah, because you got 1 million chickens there.
Yeah, one gets. If my father doesn't pick them off, if one gets through, it's no good.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
it's no good at all. They got to have close to 100 chickens there easily. So.
Oh yeah.
What is Todd? What does he do with the eggs?
Well, the hens actually that they have are getting older. So they don't produce as many as as they used to. But there's so many friggin' chickens there. So many. So did you watch that little video I did, Ralph, of all of them? That was just like a handful of them that were out.
I saw that one. I saw that. I saw them with the horses. I didn't even know your father had a farm.
Yeah. I mean, he's had race horses my whole life. You know what I mean? And then when the year I actually opened my pizzeria, they broke ground on that property. They bought some acreage or whatever, and they built a house. And then where the garage would have been, they built like an in-law. But it's like a full house my parents have, and with a basement and everything. And then in the back they built a barn. And then they brought their horses. My sister had the riding horse, and then my dad had the retired mare, and then a couple of the other horses came. And then when they had open stalls, they would board other horses while they were taking time off from racing.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Right. Who cleans? I mean, who upkeeps it? Who cleans it? Who cleans everything there?
My sister, my brother-in-law, her son. Like it's like a whole little. My dad's been retired for a while now, but he doesn't really do a lot with the horses anymore. But is that my phone that's making all that noise?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That static noise. I don't know.
I don't hear that.
I think it's when you talk, Ralph. It might be yours.
I don't hear anything.
Maybe it's me.
Fine. Now it's fine.
No.
Does he kill the chickens, like the older ones, and like eat them? Does he do that? No.
My sister, believe it or not, has such a crazy relationship with her vet that she euthanizes them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like the vet is still open. It did if they ever do an addition onto that building, it'll be in her name.
Wow.
So
she euthanizes the chickens.
Yeah, she won't put them down.
I'd be eating those friggin' chickens. I tell you, I would.
I called her the first year I was open. I called her after all my rush was over with the Super Bowl. And I said, I'm out of chicken wings. I need you to help me out. I'm coming up there. She said, what? She got all crazy. She thought I was going to come and butcher her chickens to sell people.
That's great. I'm out of chicken wings.
Yeah. Talk about a scary story, huh? But, she has that. She has dogs, cats, everything over there. She never says no. Rescues anything. One of these days I'll post up the goat. Did I ever tell you about the goat that it would walk on its knees?
No.
It was crippled. It was gone. It'll run. It almost chased me down. It was ramming me, and then I ran away, and it chased me down on its knees.
Oh my! Wow.
Yeah. Until I went onto the gravel, and then it stopped. So.
That's funny. I mean, I had a friend that he had what they call fainting goats. Do you know this? Like they faint. If they get scared, they faint. They like get petrified and they fall over. So when the kids were little, I brought them to his house. He was having a pool party, and we went into the barn to try to scare the goats to make them pass out. But it's like a defense mechanism. There's it's something that you look it up online. Fainting goats. They like go petrified and they fall down.
They faint so they don't feel themselves getting eaten.
So it's like, in other words, they're playing dead. I guess they faint and then they fall over. So I don't know. It's supposed to be a defense mechanism.
Ralph, what are you on here with your phone or your computer or what?
I'm on my phone. Why? What's wrong? I don't hear anything.
A lot of feedback. I wonder if it's me.
Fine. When you talk, it's fine. Right. But right now, we're getting feedback on you. We're getting feedback. Is YouTube open?
No, YouTube is closed. YouTube is closed.
I don't know. It's weird.
So I muted. Is the sound back now?
I don't talk, Ralph.
Hello, testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 testing.
All right,
YouTube closed.
So is it me then?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know because I don't hear anything. I hear everything sounds normal with me.
So Ralph, you're not out carousing tonight?
No, I'm tired, man. I just got home from work. I got some paperwork.
Any meatballs hit the floor today or what?
No meatballs. I'm putting together a video for Sunday's show.
Nice.
And
hey, Ralph, did that guy in Nutley start his Halloween decorations yet? Not Nutley, in Clifton. Did he start his Halloween decorations yet?
No, he will start probably next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go by there this year. I never go by there. I want to go by there this year and take a look.
I'm going to show my house. I'm getting the clips together. But I have to put them together. So I'm going to show what I used to do. But he'll probably start doing it. Probably start next week. I mean, he does. He has a lot of property, and it's a corner property. He's a dentist. He's got money, but he doesn't have any themes. I used to have themes.
I know it's random, right? It's like a whole bunch of different things. It's all, yeah.
Oh, you should do a YouTube theme.
A YouTube theme?
Yeah, you should have me or you and your vest, Ralph. Have Stig sit on the corner in his chair, giving out candy
on the front lawn.
Anthony sitting behind some candles, telling scary stories. And Thindu yelling at people.
There you go. Thindu angry. Thindu could be angry at everybody.
No, I think for this Halloween, I mean, it's a new neighborhood, and I asked my neighbor, and she's like, "We don't trick or treat here, so we don't even know how the traffic is." So,
Really?
but I was gonna like put all my lights around my house and like have the music going, and I was gonna try to do something, but I don't know. See what happens.
Wait, there's a lot of traffic in your neighborhood. Is that what
she says? Like she'll leave a bowl out because her and her kids don't trick or treat here, so she'll leave a bowl out, and she's like, it's almost always full when I get home.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
Well, that's kind of way I am here. Like, I don't get any kids. If I'm lucky, I get 2 or 3 kids, which are like the kids that live 2 doors down. But other than that, nobody comes here. It's because everyone goes to one section of the town to trick or treat where it's close. Like the houses are closer together, so everyone goes. Even my kids used to go there. They would go to this section of town and trick or treat, and then the rest of the town.
I'm surprised you never, Anthony. I'm surprised you never came to my house.
Where was your house? Where was your house?
I told you already, on Wilbur Street.
On Wilbur Street.
Wilbur Street, right by Greylock Parkway.
Wilbur Street.
I mean, you were in Belleville. I started in 1988 up until 2008.
You know, I wasn't trick or treating in 1988. I was in college. I wasn't trick or treating.
All right. If you lived in Belleville from 88 to 2008.
Yeah. No, 2000 till 2000. I'm trying to think. Wilbur Street. What? I don't know.
I caused so much pandemonium on my street that the cops had to come and block the street off on each end of the street.
Wow.
Were you singing?
That's how many people would come. The crowds would come.
So the crowds would come for the singing.
Huh?
The crowds came for the singing. He said.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's wives are running at Ralph. That's why the cops had to come. All the husbands were getting mad.
Well, Friday night used to be. Friday night was just regular people. Saturday night was couple night, and then Sunday was family night.
Okay.
The crowd of people that used to come.
Yeah, definitely get those videos, Ralph. That's awesome. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see the videos.
I got them right over here. I just have to look at them and put them together. Take different clips out because things change.
You're not dancing in any of those, are you?
Huh?
You're not dancing in any of those, are you?
No. No.
He's like dancing in various
What's
costumes.
up, Co-Train? Who else is there? Payne? How you doing, Payne?
Co-Train, how are you?
Co-Train is in the house. Co-Train's in the house. Payne is in the house.
Yes, sir.
Payne like Bane.
How many people are watching, Ant?
We're at 10, 11. Not bad.
Until I came on, there's probably about three people left. Yeah.
Ralph killed them all.
I killed them, right? I killed them.
This guy again. The guy with the golden voice is on again.
Oh, they're like, we're trying to watch, but some guy and his big head's on the screen. So
I'm watching you guys right now on my big screen TV.
Oh, really?
I didn't ask where you're watching from, Ralph. I don't know.
I'm just saying, it's awfully big. Let me tell you.
Yeah. All right, now, all right, that's enough.
I'm telling you what, we have to envision that scenario of Ralph in the Sting video catching fire and the hairnet catching fire.
All right, is there anybody who can edit the Sting music video? I'm going to put this out here right now. Is there anybody who could put Ralph's face on Sting?
Oh, somebody could do that for sure.
As he's walking through the candles and just have his head burst into flames. Anybody?
Payne, you got to do that. Payne, come on.
Payne could do that. He could
do it for us. Come on.
Today I got gel in. I have no hairspray today. Today I got gel. Like in the picture, you're looking at right now. I got gel because I change off.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll slick my hair back. Sometimes I'll wear it with gel, and sometimes it's normal. So I change, every now and then.
Yeah.
But if anybody could do it, Payne probably could do that.
Yeah.
Anthony, when's the last time you used hairspray?
1989.
Wow. I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old.
No idea. No clue. I have no clue.
I only use gel now when I have a wedding or something, or I got to look look nice.
Yeah, Joe's the way to go. Joe's the way
Other
to go.
Other than that, I like right now my hair is just like I pushed it forward coming out of the shower, and that was it. Look like a
said Ralph used to trick or treat with Jesus.
Who said that? Coach Good one, Coach Rain. That was a good one. What were they giving out at that time? Loaves of bread.
Yeah, good question. What were they giving out back then?
Loaves of bread, I guess. Loaves of bread. When Jesus went on top of the mountain and he made all the loaves of bread.
Mm-hmm.
Fish,
the fish.
Yeah. Jesus definitely was Ralph's homie, no doubt.
Somebody had a good line on your show this morning, Todd Father. That was what's his name? Oh, I can't think now.
What was it about?
Oh God, something about squash. Something about squash. You even highlighted it. It was a great line. It was great.
About squash?
No, he said something about, wasn't it that Ralph said, or what did he? It was Eddie Machete, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgot that, but he had a great line.
Yeah, because I called it the comment of the show, and now I can't remember it. Oh, I think he said you get more ass than a toilet seat, Ralph.
Oh, yes, that's what he said. You're right. Yes. Yes.
I get more ass than a toilet seat, and he's something about him with squash.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember squash, buddy.
Yeah, I remember the ass comment. I remember that, definitely.
Yeah, squash was the ending of it.
Boy.
Well, thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate it. And,
yeah,
good
no
show.
problem at all.
No
problem at all.
I'm gonna shut her down. I hope everyone enjoyed the story, and we'll look for a new one next week.
Yeah, I'll have to send you guys some of that stuff I made. You can put it on anything. Noel can vouch for it. Noel's got a whole big thing of it. So
what do you do with it? You put it on meats?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So
you can
marinate
put it on
I
could even put it on like French fries and everything. It's really good.
Oh, really? On French fries too? Cool. All
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
nice.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Anthony, I'll see you on Sunday.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
All right, Ant. Thanks for having me on. See you later, Ralph.
Have a good day. Have a good night, I should say. See you later. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Everyone who joined in, we had a good story. We had a lot of little fun at the end there, chit-chatting. So, as always, I say please hit the like button if you can. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you like my stories, there's more to come. Tune in Sunday at 2 p.m. for the Godfather discussion. I think we're on the 6th episode or the 7th episode, something like that. It's going to be the meeting between Michael and Salazzo and McCluskey. So it's going to be a good discussion. So tune in for that. And as I always thank you for being here, and stay scared. And remember, build a guild. Thank you so much. God bless everyone. Have a great weekend. Wine Guild is out.